If you're ordering a custom car from a super high-end luxury brand or performance brand, then fine, give me the dealership experience. But if you're
Otherwise,
not,
please just let me order it.
just let me order it online, pay for it online, and all you have to do is give me the keys when I come and pick it up, and I don't want to talk to any one of you.
I agree with what you've said so far, except when it comes to high-end brands.
All right, today on Accelerate, we're going to be talking about the difference between how Tesla does their direct-to-consumer buying process versus how the traditional dealer, for basically every other automaker on the planet, does theirs, and the pros and cons of each of those things, and which method is better. Then I think this is pretty important because everybody buys cars at some point in their life. So I'm Aiden.
I'm Evo.
You're watching Accelerate. So to start, of course, I have a Tesla. I don't know if you've ever bought a car from an actual dealer, have you?
Of course, CLS.
Oh, see, okay, yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. So we both, and you've bought cars online
All the time.
from Manheim, right?
Auctions,
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace, everything.
So we know the direct-to-consumer model that someone like a Manheim would use or Tesla uses, and we both have experience in the dealer because I've purchased probably 6 cars through a dealer before,
Interesting.
and 5 or 6 cars through a dealer. And so I think it's, you know, it's an interesting concept because Tesla is pretty much the only person in the industry, other than like other car companies, like maybe like Lucid or something like that, or the smaller ones, Lucid or what's the other one that I'm thinking of makes the R1T?
Rivian.
Rivian. Yeah, Rivian. So
Obligatory Starbucks drink.
the way Tesla does it, personally, I think is the best way possible. I think it has to do, I think not having to deal with franchises keeps the car prices low, which we all know
Interesting.
that
Because there's no markup.
there's no markups. But I want to hear what you think of, and the only reason I want to hear this is because I want to get a reaction out of you. But what do you think of the current state of the way that cars are purchased through dealerships? Franchise dealerships.
Well, looking at the past 3 years of car buying, walking into a dealership and being told that this F-150 you want to buy is 50 grand more expensive than normal, give me a bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? Another thing is when I bought my CLS last year, they tried screwing me over with that. It was a used car,
Mm-hmm.
right? I negotiated with them, got them down to 12. The problem I had with the car buying experience of that was I walked in there with a pre-approved loan from my credit union. Like it was all set. I had my interest rate and everything. It was at 6%. They tried when they gave me the paperwork. They're like, "Oh, it's I looked. The interest rate was 8.5."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "What do you?" I was like, "What is this?" And they were like, "Oh, well, the rates went up." I'm like, "The rates went up in 30 minutes. I just got off the phone with my loan officer. What do you mean the rates went up?" I'm like, "That's not possible." And he was like, "Well, no, they did go up." And I'm like, "All right, well, I guess we're not making a deal." And I was about to walk out, and they were like, "Oh, hold on, let me see what I could do." He came back to my 6%. I was like, "Are you serious?" I get you have to make money. I get
Right.
that. I get it. But you're gonna do that like blatantly when I told you I gave you the paperwork that
Right.
shows what I'm approved at, and you're gonna be like, "No, it's 8.5. The rate's just raised."
So,
So I'm personally not the biggest fan of buying from dealerships. I've done it once. I like the whole. I mean, you could say I buy from a dealership through Manheim because I use my friend and my dad's
yeah,
dealership thing, but technically it's his dealership, so it's not like I'm buying from a random franchise
right.
dealership. I'm buying it from a friend of mine, so the car's he doesn't mark me up or anything. I just pay whatever I pay.
So the interesting thing is I get the point behind franchise dealerships and independents. Independents are a little different because independents, they buy from auction, but there's no franchise connected, and they're not connected to a corporate company like
Right.
that. But same goes for both. I mean, franchise dealers. I want to hone in specifically on new cars here because it's a big problem. Franchise dealerships. The benefit of a corporate entity offering a franchise dealership is it drives additional businesses to start, and it's a lot easier to become a successful business if you're a franchise of anything. Doesn't matter if you're in food, cars, services, whatever it is. It allows people with large sums of money to get a franchise and start a successful business using an already popular branding. That's the
Sure.
purpose of franchises. And it allows there to be additional successful businesses in the US economy, which allows to drive the economy further. But with that, there are certainly detriments. You'll notice, like Evo said, over the last couple years, it's died down a lot recently, especially because the economy has slowed down by quite a bit because of interest rates. But before the economy and the interest rate adjustments, people were getting smacked with high interest rates, just constantly, or not higher interest rates. I'm sorry, high car prices,
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous markups. F-150 Raptors were selling 30 grand over sticker, 40 grand over sticker for no reason.
You couldn't touch the Bronco
You couldn't
Raptors.
touch Broncos. Broncos in general, you couldn't touch. You just couldn't get a Bronco. The C8 Corvette, stupidly.
We're selling it for
stupid.
59,000, 60,000 base model. Good luck finding one.
Yeah. Someone, I remember having conversations where people were like, oh, 60 grand. I'm like, it's not 60 grand. I don't care what Chevy.com says. It's not 60 grand. You're going to pay 100 grand for that car.
Yep.
Because the dealer's going to throw a massive markup because Chevy can't make a bunch of them right now because of the chip shortage that happened a couple years ago. And so dealers introduce this middleman, and this middleman has to make profit on the front and the back end. If you don't know what that means, front end is through marking up the car's price. Back end is through third-party products, through a third-party administrator, service contract, stuff like that. They have to make money on the front and the back. And the problem with that is that it adds into this feed of where there's additional stuff thrown on the car, especially on the front end, markups and everything like that. Like I get back end products to an extent because if you're buying a 10-year-old car and someone offers a warranty for it, maybe you should take it. It's just up to you. But front end markups drive me nuts because the dealers now has to make a profit. That way they can pay their employees. And the salesperson's has to make a commission, which means they're going to try and mark that thing up as high as they possibly can. That way they can make the most profit possible. That way they can make the highest commission possible. And it's not the salesperson directly trying to screw with you on the price. There's a bunch of factors that go into it, of course. But the thing is with dealers, like I respect why they exist, but it introduces a lot of variables that end up hurting the end consumer. Versus the way that, someone like a Tesla would do, like a company like Tesla would do, where it's direct to consumer. They have dealerships, don't get me wrong. And they have standard dealerships. They have people to assist you in the car buying process, but it's direct to consumer model, which reduces their overhead costs on their cars because they don't need to manage a bunch of franchises. And it ends up not having that middle component where there needs to be markups on cars to make profit for another business entity. It's all under Tesla. And so we were talking earlier about it in the car buying process. I was explaining to Evo, you can go onto Tesla's website right now. And if you have a dealer in your area with active inventory, what you can do is you go onto the Tesla app or the Tesla website, choose the car you want to buy, place an order for a car, and then Tesla will immediately notify you if there is existing inventory in your area that you can go buy from. If that's the case, you could order your car now and in an hour be in your new car, as long as you qualify for the loan and the lease or whatever you do. Because sometimes, like for me, it took me like 2 seconds to get approved for my lease. Some people take a lot longer to do that. Some people take days to get approved. But for me, the entire process could have been done in an hour after order, which means the same day that you want a Tesla, that you order a Tesla, you can go pick up a brand new Tesla from the dealer and not have to talk to a single person ever. And on top of that, especially if you're leasing a Tesla, we all know how good those lease deals are. If you're just the common American wanting to buy a car that's cheap and economical and genuinely nice, like a nice car, then you're probably going to consider a Tesla, unless you just have some kind of hate for electric vehicles, which is fine, I guess, if you do. But, that's the model Tesla's taken, and I think it benefits the end consumer more than if you were to buy from a franchised dealership. Independents are a little different. It's hard to get access to a slew of used cars unless you go buy from you can of course go buy a used car from a franchise dealer, but it's hard for the American public to access used cars through just unless you have a dealer license to get into Manheim. You can go through Facebook Marketplace or online sellers. But or like Carvana, which is direct to consumer, but you know how they're doing right now. Carvana's like not doing well. So that model didn't work. So it's hard to access new cars, I'm sorry, it's hard to access used cars. So a lot of times you have to go through a dealer, franchise, or independent.
True.
But with
True.
new cars specifically, the model that we have currently is not working.
No.
It hurts the consumer. The corporate entity has a harder time selling cars because no one wants to pay the markups. And to be honest with you here, um, the fact that the Model Y outsold the F-150 last year, and the F-150 has been the highest selling car in America for the longest time.
Yeah.
The Model Y outsold the F-150 last year, and there's a really good reason. It's cheaper, it's more economical, it's easier to get your hands on, and they're genuinely actually reliable. Like, why wouldn't the average American go buy a car that's going to be cheaper than all of its competitors,
Mhm.
ICE or electric? Which is why that's why Teslas get more popular. They have their manufacturing process is cheaper. They don't have the franchise management overhead. They don't have franchise dealers, which means there's not a markup in between. Those three components alone decrease the price of a car drastically,
Right.
which
Right.
means the average American is going to want average American or average Canadian, places where personal vehicles are very popular over public transportation. Those key points will make it so people want to go purchase a Tesla more. And the people who don't care about having or an ICE car or you know, anything like that, they're going to take the Tesla because it's just the cheaper vehicle. Of course, there's things in there. Charging can be a little annoying or a hassle at times, especially if you don't have a 240-volt installed in your house. But regardless, the current model, I think Ford, Chevy, all of them could sell way more cars and sell them for cheaper if the current model was changed. I don't want to get rid of franchise dealers because a lot of people would lose their jobs. And the American economy as an American matters a lot to me. But there's got to be a better way of doing it because people are tired of getting screwed at dealers and they've been tired of it for a long time. But the problem is the only company right now, other than other select few that are smaller, Tesla's the largest company right now doing the direct to consumer model, and it works for them. And it has been this paradigm shift in the car purchasing world where people feel comfortable actually going and buying a car from Tesla.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
how I feel about
I
it.
have no experience buying from Tesla or anything like that, but I mean, if I can walk in there and walk out in 10 minutes with a new car, I mean, that's easy.
You walk in there,
Because
sometimes
I
it's
hate dealing with like the finance office
yeah,
and
and
all this.
waiting for them to have room for you to go back there.
Bro, I know what I want.
Right.
Like with the CLS, when I walked in, I was like, here's my credit union loan. I was like, I don't want any warranties or anything on this car. I mean, it was a 10-year-old car at that point, but just give me my car and let me leave. Like
And
that's all I want.
and I love how people like make fun of the back office of a dealership so much. They don't want to go into the back office. They don't want to be sold additional products and everything like that. And to be honest with you, the front end's just as bad.
Yeah.
You just don't notice it as much on the front end because you're too busy driving and looking at your new fancy car that you're going to buy. So you don't notice what they're doing to you. Versus in the back office, you're sitting there and actually doing the work to buy a car, like signing papers.
Yeah.
So in the back office gets this bad rap because that's the boring part of buying a car. That's the part where you have to look at how much you're spending and your payments and everything like that.
Yeah.
Versus on the front end, they're doing the same stuff to you. You
Yeah.
just don't notice it because you're too enthralled with the shiny new car sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
So, and I get it. Not people don't want to be pitched third-party warranties and things like that, but or service contracts or tire and wheel packages or windshield protection or key fob protection, and that's fine. But there's a lot of people who actually want that stuff. There are tons of people who genuinely want that coverage, and that's fine. I'm not going to make fun of you because you buy a service contract. If you don't want to work on your own cars and you want to have some kind of safety net just in case something breaks, buy a service contract. That's fine. You'd be surprised with how many people who go buy supercars pay $10,000 for a service contract. A lot of people do.
Right.
But the back office gets a lot of rap for something that the front end does to you constantly. They just don't notice it. But you're right. It's both the front and the back, and you have to sit there. And even on the front, sometimes you're sitting there waiting for a first pencil. Sometimes you're sitting there waiting for the car to be available, to get washed, you're doing all this stuff. You're negotiating with the managers and the sales representatives and things like that. And like when I worked at Godin, when I bought the Mustang, yeah, that was a quick process, but I worked there. I was working while they were working on the deal for my car, and I got a banger deal with I worked for the dealership. When I bought my 3 Series from BMW, I sat at that dealership for like 5 hours.
Why?
I have no clue.
What were you
No
doing?
waiting for the back office to be ready for me, and then also upfront discussing payments and down payments and all this stuff, and it's like, you know what's better than discussing this with someone? Putting the amount I'm gonna put down into an input field on an app, and you just telling me what the payment is going to be, and then allowing me to run a credit app by myself. That's much better, which is why I'd rather buy a car off an app.
Yeah.
But just like an Amazon package. But see, that's the thing is I think that's what people are tired of mostly, and getting screwed on price. But I don't miss it at a dealership for 5 hours.
Makes sense.
I have so many better things to do with my time
Makes
than
sense.
spend 5 hours at a car dealership buying a car.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. It's just, I don't know. It's annoying. A lot of the stuff is really annoying when it comes to just in general. Does I guess you can say the mindset of the car or the mindset of buying a car, right? Is me, I like it easy. Manheim for me, I log in, I click bid, or I click buy now, go pay for the car, and I drive the car out of the auction and go do the paperwork with my friend. He does all the paperwork in my name. I leave. That's literally it. That's how easy it is. But I know what you mean. You know, a lot of people are just getting sick and tired of 8-hour days at the dealership. God knows doing what.
Yeah.
Like why? Why do I need to be there for that long? Let me buy my car and leave. I know what I want.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think it's at some point, especially with how much I'm just surprised it hasn't changed to more direct to consumer model
probably.
because with all the technology we have, Tesla did it. Why can't Ford or Chevy or Dodge or any of the German brands do it? Sure, like you can like go onto the website and configure the car, but then guess what? The last button you're hitting is like send build or get quote on car, and then that build gets sent to a dealer and you're right back where you were.
Oh, interesting. So you can't. I've never done it from there, but if you know, I've built cars on
Neither have I,
websites,
but
but I've never ordered.
if you go onto BMW's website and you build a car, you have to send that build to the dealer. You do that by clicking a button. It finds the dealer in your area, and then you click on the dealer you want to go to, and it sends the build to the dealer, and they call you, and you go through the whole process of ordering a new car. Also, and this is just based on Tesla's manufacturing process. You get your car a lot faster with Tesla to get built. It's because of their unboxed manufacturing process. They build the car, they build different parts of the car at the same time, and they combine them together at like a Lego brick at the
Mm.
very end of the process. So building their cars is a lot quicker. Um, so they can get cars to you faster. Plus, we live in Nevada,
Yeah.
and their plant for building Teslas isn't very far from here.
Oh,
So
interesting.
the plant's close to us. So it doesn't take very long to get a hold of a car. The only thing is that you can get your car a lot quicker if you build it. Like try building a car. Like let's go say not even like a GT3 RS because you have to have an allocation and buy a bunch of Porsches before that. But let's say you want to get like a regular 911 Carrera S, right? That's got to be built in Germany, which I appreciate. Build it in Germany, I appreciate that because that's where the company is. I want my car built in Germany if I'm buying a German car. Um, no hate on the M2, but
Where's it built?
Mexico. But anyways,
Oh, bro.
um,
Not shocked. Well, I
the
mean, all the AMGs are built here, except for the
right
engine. The engines are built
built,
in
yep.
Germany and brought here.
The but you have to wait a really long time. Sometimes you're waiting 6 months to have your Porsche built and sent here. You know,
Yeah, but I think that's an experience.
it is an experience, and you
I
can
think
even
I
go
think it's
get
I
it
think
delivered in Germany.
I agree with what you've said so far, except when it comes to high end brands.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I like let's say the Porsche, the Lambo, the Ferrari, the I mean, I'm not even gonna say the Bugatti one. I don't even know how that works. But well, actually, no, the Bugatti one's very inclusive. You go to the dealership, you order it. It's very similar. You order the car.
Mhm.
There's not really a markup or anything because you're already paying $4 million.
Yeah.
They give you the car. You go to France, spec the car out. They fly you out there. You know, do the whole French. You know, they give you cheese and wine and
Cheese and
whatnot.
wine.
And but just in general, even with Ferrari, I mean, with Ferrari, you go to dealership, spec your car, and then if you want delivery, you could go pick it up there. But you know what? You know it's such a scam.
Hmm.
I've read into this. It goes, yeah, with a Ferrari, you can order the car, they'll bring it to you for free, like deliver it to you, or you can pay them $500 to go tour the factory, but you still gonna
Yeah.
pay for your flights and everything. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let me pay you 500 to give me my car. Like what? But yeah, it's a really interesting concept where with high end cars, I prefer the dealership experience
True.
because then they go all out for you because you spent all this much money. You know, you go into the dealership, they've got everything set up.
If you're ordering the new car yourself, completely custom, I agree with you on that.
Right.
Like, because
Right.
if you go to a BMW dealer and you're ordering a brand new M5, right? They have a wall of paint colors and
Yeah.
paint swatches and seating material that you can feel. If you're ordering a brand new 7 Series or if a new M3, you go through this entire process of this is what your seats are going to feel like. This is the color they're going to be. This is the color of your outside. This is what the carbon fiber or the
Yeah.
anthracite looks like. You can go through all these different options. That's cool if you're ordering a completely custom car, especially if you're going through Porsche. Porsche has an entire experience of going through and ordering a new car where you can go through and look at each one of the rim options
Yep.
and go through and pick the colors of the outside. You can spec the leather dashboards, the painted dashboard, all this really cool stuff that you can do on these extremely high end brands. That I agree with. I want the dealership experience if I'm ordering a custom spec car. But if I'm walking in and I'm buying a Macan off the lot, I don't want the dealership experience. Give me the car. I'll do the rest in the app. I'll do the rest. I'll do it in the app. Give me the car.
Yeah, I think we just have to really consider what you're looking for. I mean, if you're buying high end cars, I like the dealership experience. I mean, if I spec a Lambo, I wanna be able to have the experience of spec a
Right.
Lambo.
True.
I'm not trying to do it at my house on the phone.
Yeah, I
or
don't want to do
whatever.
that on the because that's not special.
No, it's not because especially when you're spending that much money, everything has to be right.
Right.
You know, what I mean, if I'm spending only like 30 grand for a Model 3, whatever, I'll take a regular white, black one with a black interior, white interior, whatever. Who cares? But when I'm buying a $300,000 or a $500,000 Ferrari Dolce Cilindri, I probably just butchered the name of it, the new 12-cylinder one. I want to make sure it's right. Like I want to make sure that it's the color I want because then if I go to the dealership, they'll have the actual colors like laid out, painted on like those little
Yeah.
model cars, and I can look at what the paint looks like. I can put it in the sun, do all this because people may say, "Oh, that's superficial," or I'm not
Superficial.
whatever the word whatever the word is, but you're doing too much. Okay, but I'm spending 500 grand. I'm
Right.
gonna do whatever I want. I want the car to be my car.
Right.
Like I want it perfect. You know what I mean? I want to pick the little stitching that's on my seat or on the dashboard or stuff like that. Like Porsche does all that stuff. I want to see what the color of my seat belts is gonna look like against my leather. Like that stuff matters because when you're spending that much money, the dealership will also go out of their way for you to like
Yeah.
make sure the experience is good. And then with the delivery of the car, that you walk in, it's covered under like a whole
Oh yeah.
car cover and
The
all that.
Porsche ordering and delivery experience is incredible.
Yeah,
If I'm going in there to buy like a used or on the lot new car, that's where I hate the
sure.
dealership experience because that's when I have to sit there.
Because you know what you want at that point. You've already
Right.
seen the car. I just want this car. I don't
Uh,
want to deal with everything else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Versus the ordering experience is a lot like, before the car even shows up a lot for the delivery experiences where you order a custom car, the paperwork's done
Yeah.
and you've paid for the car and
Yeah,
done
you
the
can
loan
just track it
paperwork
on your phone.
ever before the car even shows up, you're handling that
Yeah.
stuff
And you're just tracking on your phone. When it gets
Right.
here, you just go and
and
drive off.
pick it up. They handle all of the stupid paperwork and stuff before the car even shows up.
Yeah.
And when the car shows up, it's under a cover. They're ready to give you the keys. You're ready to go.
Yep.
And that's for the super high end brands. They don't make you sit there and wait to go unbox your car.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, I mean, if you're ordering a custom car, give me the dealership experience.
Yeah.
If you're not, I don't love the dealership experience because it's not special to me.
Yeah.
I know the car I want. I see it on your lot, or I know what I want on, for example, Tesla's website. You find it on Tesla. However you do it, doesn't matter if it's Tesla or an ICE brand, but it's just so annoying to sit there knowing what you want, it's sitting right in front of you, and you have to sit there for 5 to 8 hours waiting to get your hands on that. That's an entire work day you missed just to buy a car that on an app would have taken you 30 minutes to buy.
Yeah.
That's where my problem
Go buy a
lies.
car on your lunch break.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with new cars now is because interest rates are so high, dealerships have stopped doing markups. You can order cars now and not have to pay an extremely high markup on cars anymore if you order them
Yeah.
because there are special orders and everything like that. Versus if you go buy a car that's already on the lot, there could be an addendum on that car.
Yeah.
There could be a markup on that car if it's
Yeah.
used, or an addendum on a new car, things like that, where they've marked up the sticker price. And you don't know what the base price is. And there's always just market adjustments on cars. And it's like, yeah, a bunch of bull crap.
Yeah. I'm
Market
not paying
adjustments
that.
is what it
Not
is.
paying that.
Versus if you order that car, you're waiting. You might wait an extended period for that car because it might be in high demand. But there's no market adjustment on a car you're buying or ordering from the company directly. kind of thing. So that's what I appreciate. Except, I mean, the only problem is if you're gonna order like a GT3 RS, you're gonna either be told no and to leave because
So I'm
you
like, yeah, you could do that as long as you buy these 6 Macans.
yeah, or and if you have bought those 6 Macans, you're gonna be waiting quite a while to see that GT3 RS.
Yeah. It just sucks. I mean, it sucks that, or if you know somebody and
Or if you know
they can hook
somebody,
you up. Or,
yeah.
that's interesting. But yeah, it just depends on the kind of car you're buying, the caliber of car.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't just walk in and buy a Chiron. Like I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, they're not gonna do
go
that
kick
for
rocks.
you.
Like you have to be an
100%.
established customer. They have to invite you, which makes sense for cars like that. But for me to buy the new Ferrari V12, I have to buy 6 Roma Spiders and like, fuck off, bro. Like I'm not doing all that. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. I get it. The special cars are for the clients that have been loyal to the brand. Makes sense. But even then, it's like the dealer can choose whether or not they want to give you the allocation.
Right.
Like if you say one bad thing, they're like, "Well, we're not selling this car to you."
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Ferrari.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Ferrari.
Like if I say I don't like the black strip on the new Delici Cilindri in the front, and they're like, "Well, you said you hate the car, so we're never gonna sell you this car." And it's like I didn't say that. I just said I didn't like one aspect of the car.
Yeah.
Or the new F80 has the same black thing on the front, which I get it's like a throwback, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. So
Yeah, that's just how some car brands are. Honestly. Like we both said, if you're ordering a custom car from a super high-end luxury brand or performance brand, then fine, give me the dealership experience. But if you're
otherwise,
not,
please just let me order this.
just let me order it online, pay for it online, and all you have to do is give me the keys when I come and pick it up, and I don't want to talk to any one of you.
Yeah.
So that's
So that's
all.
the gist of this video.
Yep.
Buy very expensive cars so you can have a good dealership experience.
Yeah, the only way you're getting a good dealership experience is if you buy an extremely expensive car.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.